Welcome to the online class, my dear students. In the last session, we started to write a C++ program using classes and object concept, right? So today also we are going to see one more program, that is program to find area of rectangle. Program to find area of a rectangle using class and object concept. Last class we written a program that is to accept a date and print a date using classes and object concept. Today we are going to try to write program on this topic, that is we have to find area of rectangle. That is, we know formula, area of rectangle is equal to L into B, right? Length into breadth. First I am going to write a program to find the area of rectangle using by defining a member function inside the class, right? Afterwards we are going to write we are going to consider same problems, but we are going to define member function outside the class. Okay, see here, first we have to consider a class as include IO stream.h as include conio.h, right? These are the common header files. First we have to consider the needed header files. Afterwards we have to write a code for the class. Afterwards we have to write main function, right? See here, class, I am going to take short form, RECT is the class name, that is rectangle. Next, open flower bracket, private. So what are the data members we needed to find the area of rectangle? We need L and B. Therefore take int L comma B public. So first we have to accept the value of L into B. Therefore we need one function, input function. Next we have to calculate, right? So that's why we need one more function, and display the result. That's why we need three functions here. First one is public void input function, right? I am defining member function inside the class. Therefore don't put semicolon here, write the input function code within the class, that is here only. That is what we have to input, L and B, right? Therefore cout enter the values of length comma breadth. I am writing L comma B, that is length comma breadth. Next in, they are going to be stored in L and B, L and B, right? This is what closing of input function. Next, by taking this value we have to find area of rectangle, right? Therefore write another function int calculate function means here I am calculating area of rectangle. What is the formula? Area of rectangle equal to L into B. That is L and B values already there here, right? Here data type I taken int, means this function is going to calculate area and it is going to return somewhere. When the function is returning some value means we have to write here return type specifier as returned value type. If it is not returning anything, for example here input function I am taken here return type specifier as void, means it is not returning any value, but this function is calculating and return some value. That value type is int. That's why I am taken here data type or return type specifier as int. So that value must be written using a return statement. That's why I am considering return of L into B, right? Semicolon. Next, last function, void display. What I have to display? Area of rectangle, right? Write down Cout area of rectangle. Area of rectangle is see here, area of rectangle is stored in calculate function, right? Calculate function. Next I am closing it. So now input function is over, calculate function is over, display function is over, right? Now class is opened here. Class must be closed with a semicolon. Class must be closed with a semicolon. Now go for writing main function code, that is void main function open flower bracket. What is the next step? We are not declared object here. It is possible to declare here object, otherwise in the main function first statement. Therefore, how to declare object? Considering class name, that is RECT space R is the object, name of the object. This is what? Creating object R, right? This statement declares object. Next, with the help of this object R, I am going to call input function, R dot input function. With the help of this object R, I am going to call display function, R dot display function, right? Next, get close of main function. Listen here. Just I written a simple C++ program using classes and object concept. So in this I written definition of member function inside the class. Therefore, before going to close the class, all the member functions have code. Right? Now explain how it is going to work. See here, execution starts from a main function, right? In the main function, first step we have to declare object. That is, what is the syntax of declaration of object? Class name space object name. class name is RECT space object name. I am consider here object name as R. Afterwards you can write CLR.SRI function if you need. Clear screen function, you know, right? So don't write clear screen function before declaration of object. Okay, in the main function first we have to declare object, afterwards write CLR.SRI function, clear screen function. Okay, next step, R.input function. It means with the help of object R, which is belongs to class rectangle, input function is called. When the cursor comes here, R.input function, it checks in the class which contains object R, right? Through this object, input function is called. Where is the input function? Cursor comes here, input function. Here what is going on? Enter the values of L comma B, values of length and breadth, and it is going to be stored in L comma B. Suppose L value is 5, B value is 5 means these inputs are going to stored in L as well as B. Next, cursor comes back to the main function. What happens? R.display function. R.display function means with the help of object R, member function displays invoked, means cursor comes to the display function here. Here one cout statement is there, area of a rectangle is, this statement is printing. Afterwards one function is there, that is CALC open bracket close bracket, that is calculate function. Means this display function is there, this display contains another function in it. It is called nested function. This is called nested function. Just like what is a nested if statement? First here a if statement contains another if statement in it, then it is called nested if statement. Like that, a function contains another function in it is called nested function. Like that. So through object, if we want execute any function, means it must be done with object. Here R.display means we are coming to this display function through this object only, R. Therefore area of rectangle is, here don't write once again R.calc. Already we are coming here through object R, that's why don't write here R.calculate. It understood. Then what happens when cursor comes here, calculate function, cursor moves to this calculate function. Here what is happening? Return L into B. L into B means L value is 5. Suppose B value is 5 means 25. This 25 is returning with the help of return function to this place. Right? Now what happens? This value is returning to here. Then area of rectangle is 25 is printing. So in this way it works. This is called program to find the area of a rectangle using classes and object concept. Okay. So now what we discussed some 2-3 programs. For all those programs we written a code for the member function inside the class only. Now let us consider the same programs and try to write code outside the class, that is with the help of scope resolution operator. Let us see. So what is the output of this program? It is printing in one line, that is area of a rectangle. First it asks enter the values of L comma B, that is enter the value of length and breadth. Suppose we entered 5 comma 5 means final answer is area of rectangle is 25. Like this we are going to get result, right? Now let us see, let us consider the same program, but the difference is in the last class we user entered date and user displayed date, but what the code is there for a data member function, that is inside the class only. Now we write the same programs by writing code for the member function outside the class. So let us try. Class date open flower bracket private int day comma month comma year, right? So we have to enter a date and we have to display the same date. Means to enter purpose we need one function, to display purpose we need another function, and close the class because we have to define those member function outside the class, right? Public void input function, close the function, void display function, close the class. Now write the code for this input function and a display class function outside the class. How to write code for the outside the class? Just recall the syntax: return type specifier, name of the class, scope resolution operator, member function, right? So what is the return specifier for the input function? Void, display function void. So therefore void name of the class is date, scope resolution operator, function name input function, right? Now write the code. In the previous program we written code here only, means before going to close the class we written code. Now I am going to write a program in such a way that I am going to write code for the member functions outside the class. That is, after closing the class I am going to write code for this input function. How it is possible? It is possible with the help of scope resolution operator. See here. So how to write? First we have to write class name, scope resolution operator, function name, right? Now what code we have to write? We have to write a code in such a way that user must enter day, month, year. Therefore cout enter the date, in. So he is going to enter day, month, year. That thing is going to be stored in DMY, right? DMY, right? Close the class. Now consider a display function void display function means date scope resolution operator display function see out. Now what we have to do, we have to display that date. That's why entered date is what we have to do, we have to print day first, right? Day. Next we need one slash month slash year, right? Then close the class, close this display function. Now what is over? Class declaration is over. Definition for member functions outside the class is over. Now write main function. Void main. In the main function, what is the first step? Declaration of object. What is the class name? Date. Take object name, any name, but don't take data member's name, right? I am taking today semicolon. Now with the help of this object today, call the member functions, that is today dot input function. Next today dot display function, right? Next get close, and after object declaration you may write CLR/SCR function, right? Now see, I am going to explain how it works. So execution starts from main function. Okay, in the main function today named object is created. Okay, today dot input function, cursor goes to input function, right? Input function. Here what happening? So code is written outside the class, that's why this scope resolution operator is there. This is called scope resolution operator, right? So here one statement is printing enter the date. I am entering day, month, year are going to be stored in date year, right? Suppose today date, suppose it may be anything, just I am entering 38/2020, right? So first is going to be considered as day, second is considered as month, third is considered as year. And next, after closing this function, cursor goes to once again main function. What happens in main function? Today dot display function. So it goes to display function. Where is display function? Here, display function. In the display function, one cout statement is there. Enter the date is. So this is printing enter the date is. See here, what is there? Variable d is there. What this d contains? 30, right? Slash is there, it is printing slash. M is there, M contains 8. One more slash is there, it is printing y. Y is there, y contains 2020. So like this, date, month and year is printing. And we can observe here, in the last class we assigned a value to the data member, right? We assigned a values to the data member in the main function. That's why we taken today dot day is equal to 30, today dot m is equal to 8, today dot year is equal to 2020, like that. But here when the cursor comes here, today dot input function, here don't write today dot d, today dot m, today dot year, because today is the object. Through object input function is there, cursor comes here, right? So here day and month year are actually private, means they are accessible inside the class only, but this input function is declared under public. Therefore this input function accessed from this part, right? Therefore we are not entering here today dot day, today dot month, today dot year. In the previous example there is no member functions, and that's why we are assigning values to the data member through object. Here this day, month, year are coming through this public input function. Therefore just write day, month, year as it is. Like this it is possible to write. It is possible to accept date and print date by defining member function inside the class as well as by defining member function outside the class, right? Like this. Now let us consider the last problem, that is rectangle program. There we defined a member function inside the class. Now I am going to solve the same program. I am going to write code for the program which contains member function definition outside the class, that is with the help of scope resolution operator. Let us see. See what is the program. Program to find the area of a rectangle by defining member function outside the class, right? See here, class rectangle private. I am taking float this time, float L comma B, that is length and breadth purpose. Next public, consider the needed member function and close here only, means just declare here because we are going to write code outside. Therefore void input function, close it. I am closing here. See here, I am closing this function because I have to define member function outside the class, means I have to write code for this input function outside the class. Therefore I am closing it. Next float calculate function. Next void display function. I am closing all the member functions here. This is what? Closing of class with semicolon. What these three? Declaration of member functions. Declaration of member functions. I am not writing code here, just I am declaring the function. That's why these are called declaration of member function, are declared and closed within the class. Now I am going to consider each member function and I am going to write code outside the class with the help of a special operator called scope resolution operator. See here, first one is input function, right? Void, class name is RECT, rectangle, scope resolution operator, input function, right? So what I should input? Length and breadth. Therefore see out enter the values of length comma breadth. C in length comma breadth, right? Close this. Next, after accepting L and B, we have to find area of rectangle with the help of a function called CAL, and that should be written outside the class. Therefore, we have to take scope resolution operator. Here written text is, where is there? Float. Therefore, we have to take float. Name of the class RECT, scope resolution operator, CAL. See, CAL is there only. CAL, open bracket, closure bracket, open flower bracket. See here, L and B value is there. Now area of rectangle equal to L into B. Therefore, I am going to perform this in a statement called a return of L into B, semicolon. I am closing it. Right? Closing it. Next, one more function, that is, we have to consider display function. Void display function. So write cout statement. Area of rectangle is, okay, where it is there? In the CAL function. Write this CAL function. Close this bracket. Right? Just I return code for the member function outside the class. Right? Now consider main function. Void main. What is the first step? Object declaration. Consider class name rectangle. Object name is, suppose R means, right? Next, CLR SCR, clear screen function. R dot input function. R dot display function. Get closing of main function. Closing of main function. Now let us see how it works. Program execution starts from a main function. In the first step, object declaration is made, means RECT space R means R is the object for the class RECT. Next, clear screen function. R dot input function means input function is called with the help of object called R. So this R belongs to rectangle. R means object belongs to class rectangle. So where is input function? R dot input function means it finds input function. Here is the input function. We return code outside the class, therefore I used here scope resolution operator. What is happening in the input function? Enter the values of L and B, that is length and breadth are going to be stored in L and B. You enter the L value and B value. Next, cursor comes once again main function. R dot display function. It finds where is the display function. Here is the display function. It goes display function. And what is happening in a display function? One cout statement is there. This is printing area of a rectangle is. The statement is printing. Afterwards, cal function is there. So where this cal function is there? Here is the cal function. Means here don't write R. So this displays one function. Just see here. What is the mistake here? Here I considered display function without using scope resolution operator, right? So make it change. Void rect dot display function, right? Because we are writing code outside the class. So whenever cursor comes r dot display function, it finds a display function scope resolution operator, right? RECT scope resolution operator display function, right? So here is the display function. In the display function, area of rectangle is one more function is there, right? Means display is one function, it contains another function, therefore this cal is called nested function, okay? And when cursor comes here, it calls cal function, right? So in what happens in the cal function, calculated function, one value is returning, that is performing L into B, and this value is returning where it is called. So it comes here. Means what answer we are getting? We are getting area of rectangle is some value is printing. That value is depending on entered values. Entered values. Here L and B are float, therefore we are entering float value means we are getting float answer. Even though we are entering int value means at the end we are getting float, because we declared L and B as float. Therefore we are getting area of rectangle is some 25.75. Like that we are getting some float value. So like that L and B are float, therefore we are getting final result as float. We get final answer as area of rectangle is some float value. Like this, it is possible to write code for the member function outside the class also. Okay, in the next class we are going to discuss some more programs on this. Thank you.